It's another day and another curbside find. It's big, and it's white, and it's filthy. And it's free! Let's take a quick look at this puppy. It's a Dell XPS 410. The XPS line is supposed to be a high-end system, but this looks old and has definitely seen better days. According to the stickers, it's got Windows Vista installed, and something about Intel VIIV. I've never heard of that before. This may take a little research. But first things first. Time to blow the dust and dirt out of this puppy before I take it inside. And I spent quite some time blowing the dust out of this one. Yuck! I'm glad I got one of these guys to do all the work. For all your forced air needs, you need one of these guys. But first, a little research. According to Intel, the VIIV refers to an attempt to create a multimedia PC in 2006. It was powered by a Pentium D or a Core 2 Duo. According to Wikipedia, there was supposed to be an integrated digital video recorder, 5.1 channel audio, and some came with multimedia software installed. Originally designed for Windows XP, it was upgraded to Windows Vista. From the absence of any information from Intel's website, and judging from the few reviews of VIIV technology, it didn't go very far or last very long. I've looked over a few reviews on the web for the XPS 410, and the box seems to be a cut-down version of that model. It seems to be missing the front panel for reading SD cards, and the video card seems rather diminutive. And after a quick wipe down, here it is. Now I don't feel so afraid to touch it. I have to admit that I love the quick and tool-free side panel removal in these old Dells. It's just like the Optiplexes. You can easily remove and change things inside. So there's no excuse for leaving hard drives inside. I wonder what kind of embarrassing data is inside. I'm not a big fan of the weird proprietary Dell motherboards, but they seem to be fairly rugged. Fully populated RAM slots. This may be promising. The installed power supply is rated for 375 watts, which is better than the usual POS 300 watt power supply that gets stuck in most desktops. I've seen a lot of bad power supplies with these old systems. We'll disconnect it and check it, just in case. The video card is a little funky, with an odd DVI jack. It turns out this is an NVIDIA Quattro NVS 285 for a dual monitor setup. I'll have to order a special adapter just to see if it still works. In the meantime, I've got my trusty NVIDIA GT220. 48 CUDA cores beats no CUDA cores. Compared to the Quattro NVS, it's actually an upgrade. But let's go back to the power supply and put the power judge on it. And it looks like there's a problem. Using my newer power supply tester, it seems that one of the 12-volt power supplies has failed. No wonder this machine got trashed. So we'll drop in this light-on 300-watt power supply just to see if the machine can boot. The light-on SATA power cables are too short to reach the hard drives, so I've temporarily moved it just to see if the machine can boot. And hello, Dell splash screen. The BIOS takes forever to boot though. I've worked with XPS systems, and even the new ones seem to take a while to get through the BIOS. A quick look at the BIOS shows it has a Core 2 Duo clocking at 1.8 GHz. Better processors are available, but we'll leave this one in for the moment. Although the motherboard is fully populated with RAM, it's actually a mixture of two 1 gig sticks and two half gig sticks for a grand total of 3 gigs, running at 667 MHz. We might have some sticks available that can do a little better. And it boots into Windows 7 Ultimate.
Ooh!
Looking at the device manager, we can see the hard drive is 256 gigabytes, which is okay for home use. It's also packed to the gills. We'll take a look at that later. There's a lot of stuff missing, drivers and things not properly configured. Let's put in a replacement power supply, the EVGA 450 bronze. It's B-stock. It has some scratches on it, but who cares? It's inside the chassis, so no one will see them. Here's a side-by-side comparison of the old and new power supplies. The Dell power supply has short leads where it needs short leads, and really long leads to reach the drives farther away. This saves Dell a few pennies on every power supply on the wire by customizing their units. Funky video connector obtained. We swapped the original card back in, and it works as well as it ever did, I guess. The new SATA power connectors aren't mounted at 90-degree angles like the original, so they stuck out, making it impossible to keep the drives in the original position and still close the case. There's adapters, I'm sure, but right now I can't be arsed. For the moment, we'll mount the hard drive in the front. Getting the front panel off was easy by just pulling on the blue thing. Mounting the drive is fairly easy. There's extra front panel screws for mounting it in the front. And if you want to move it back, it just slides right out. Easy peasy drive swap. Which is good because the DVD drive wouldn't open, so I replaced it with a spare drive I had. It's always a good idea to check out the manual when cleaning things. I discovered this fan could be removed and cleaned. And oh boy, did it need cleaning. Thanks, Dell. Upgrading the RAM to 4 gigs didn't seem to do much good, but it was a quick upgrade. They're mismatched speeds, so that doesn't help. Adding 2 2-gig sticks and matching their speeds with the other RAM did make a difference. Now we have a total of 6 gigs of memory. Cleaning up the drive by installing and running Avast antivirus, Malwarebytes, and CCleaner did help a little. But I'm real suspicious about the installed Windows 7, as they had the updates turned off. After doing a little digging, it turns out this is an OEM version of Windows 7, which is a little weird since I don't think this model was ever released with Windows 7. I did turn on updates and a pile of updates did load, but it got stuck on updating .NET stuff. No matter, Windows 7 will be unsupported soon, and we can install Linux or even Windows 10 on this puppy. There's a few games and about 130 gigs of manga videos inside. Dragon Ball Z, Vampire Princess, that sort of thing. Most embarrassing. A quick look at the document folder doesn't show anything illegal or incriminating. I really don't care. I just like to point and laugh. Right-angle power supply cables obtained. We'll use these to put the hard drive back in its proper place. Upgraded processor time. Here we have the Intel 6680 Core 2 Duo clocking at 2.4 GHz. Although my research suggests the machine can take a much faster processor, I had this one at hand. So let's try it. Like their cousins the Optiplex, you loosen 2 screws and the heatsink and fan comes off without much fuss. Out with the old, in with the new. Hot dog. Faster processor. The jump from 1.8 to 2.4 GHz actually makes a big difference. It'll never be a AAA gaming rig, but I'm not a AAA gamer. I decided to swap out the graphics card for the recently repaired GT 630. It's a graphics card designed for media applications, so it should be a good addition. Since support for Windows 7 is ending soon, let's have some fun and install Windows 10 Professional. Although I'm a serious penguinista, having a Windows 10 machine around is occasionally handy. We'll give it a try, after I securely erase the old hard drive, because I really don't want to know. Microsoft is allowing people to install Windows 10 unactivated with some restrictions. I can live with that, just to see how it works. After playing with it for a while, I'm not impressed with Windows 10. The interface seems cluttered and there's a lot of junk applications. It just seems slow. Maybe a Q6600 quad-core processor would help. The more cores, the better. Same clock speed, but twice the cores. Gotta love it. And it was cheap, too. Having more cores is really making this thing an acceptable computer. Still not a AAA gamer, but much better than before. I opted to add a front panel card reader with a USB port and covered up the old front panel USBs. I suspected the original ports were heavily used and one was badly damaged. From the amount of ripped TV shows, I suspect they used an external drive to rip DVDs after destroying the original internal DVD drive. What started out as a filthy, broken, and abandoned machine is now a shiny and more powerful box. Better power supply, better graphics card, double the memory, double the cores. It's gone from corpse to capable. Thanks for watching, and remember to stay curious.